Once you have installed Flutter, the next thing you need to do is to create a new Flutter project. And this is what we'll do in this video. So you will open the terminal. So I will go inside my Mac, we'll open terminal and maximize this thing so you can see something. Next, we need to create the project. What I like to do is to always create the projects at the same place. So it's inside my MacBook, inside my development, and this is the Flutter installation, and this is my projects. So we will create one inside this. So I will say cd, and I will cd the development folder, and then cd the projects folder. Great, so this is where we are. Now I will say Flutter create, and we will call this one my Flutter app or Flutter app. You can write anything you prefer, but just make sure that you don't have spaces. And next you will say run. Perfect. So this will create our Flutter project. We need to open this inside Visual Studio. So I will go inside, I will say open, and then I will go inside development, projects, and I have the Flutter app right there. So you will click open. Great. So now we are inside our Flutter project and we are ready to run the application. So we'll go inside the library and the main.dart, and then you will press this little button if you are on Visual Studio Code. And this will start the application. It should take like 30 seconds to launch. All right. But if you are on Android Studio or something else, you can go in the terminal and you can write Flutter run and press enter. So if you press enter, this will launch the Flutter app. The next thing I need to tell you is if you are on Visual Studio Code, you can also create some sort of configuration. You can do this on Android Studio also, but on Visual Studio, it's pretty simple. You just click this little thing, and now you have all your configuration, and you can launch the application by going and clicking on this little thing instead. It doesn't really matter how you launch it. At least the only thing you need is to launch Flutter. Right? So this is the basic application, and on the next video, we will start building a real application, right? So that's about it, and I see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Okay, so the next thing you need to understand is Flutter is really widget inside widget inside widget. This is the key concept that once you understand this, you will see building with Flutter will be so simple. So let me show you an example. Inside the main.dart, which is the entire code required to build this application right now, we will change a couple of things. So by example, if you change you have pushed this button many times, blah, 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 you can press this little thing, which is called the hot reload, so the lightning bolt or whatever, and this will restart and just update the screen, all right? So you can also just write something else and press Ctrl S to save, and this will automatically update the screen. So I will always do this. The next thing you need to understand is Flutter is widget inside widget. So I have a column widget. Inside I have an argument called children, which will put inside a list of other widgets. So this is why we can have one widget and another under, because we use a column widget. So this is what I need you to understand is Flutter is widget inside widget. Another example is we have the center widget, which will put everything in the center. And then we have the column, which will allow you to put two widgets, the text and the number. All right. So if we take another text and we just copy paste right under like this, you will see that we have two numbers. Great. Another thing we can do is maybe we can go inside the text and we can go and press, I don't know, text style or just style. This is an argument, by the way, but it doesn't really matter if you don't understand right now. We will explain everything later. So I will say we'll use a text style widget like this, and you can click the arrow to have more information about it. I prefer not to click it because it kind of hides everything in the screen. So I will press text style, and I will press Control Space because this is the way you can see all the arguments inside. And I will use, by example, color, and I will say colors.blue, and I will save. So now you can see that the text is blue because inside the text widget, I've put a text style widget which changed the style. So Flutter is really like that. Widget inside widget inside widget. And in the next video, I will show you how to understand and how to put all these pieces together. And yeah, that's about it. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Okay, so how do you put a widget inside a widget, or how do I know when do I need to use style, or when do I need to use child, or when do I need to use children? It's so confusing, right? So what I will need to do is, by example, I will remove the column. I will delete all of this garbage right away. And what we'll do is we'll just put a text widget like this. And inside, I will press Control Space. And you can see that we can put many arguments. But the text widget is a little bit funky, because if you go over, you will see that you need to put right away the string data, and then you can put some arguments. So this one is a little bit funky. So we will put a string. We'll say hello and save. But now, how do we put arguments? How do we understand to put widget inside widget? To put arguments, what you need to do is you press the comma and you press Control Space. This will show you all the possible arguments. So by example, we used style previously. So I will put my arrow, I will click this little thing, and I will see that the description of the thing. All right, so I will click on style, and I will put a text style like we did earlier. But the thing you have to understand at this point is a widget is a capital letter. An argument is a lowercase letter, the first letter. And after this, you do this forever. You see that after the argument, we have another widget which have the capital letter. And you guessed it, if we go inside and we use an argument, by example, the color is a lowercase letter. And after this, again, capital letter, colors.amber. So you understand right now that Flutter is widget inside widget, but you understand also that in order to put another widget inside another one, you need to use an argument. Arguments use lowercase letter, and widget use capital letter. So like this, you have some sort of visual idea of how to use Flutter right now. This is the key concept. Once you understand this, you are ready to jump and create your own app. And this is what we will do in the next video. So I see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Okay, so the next step you need to have or understand is how to create the data type with Flutter. Once you have this, it's really like, let's go, and I don't know what I mean by that, but anyway. So what you will need to do is you will say string, and you will say name is equal to, by example, mammoth or whatever. Doesn't matter. So this is a string. After this, we have the int, which will be a number, and this will be equal to 1. We have the double, which will be nobody care. And the double is like a number with a comma. And after this, we have a list. This is how you create a list. So my list is equal to the square bracket. The square bracket will let know Flutter that it's a list, and you can put many items inside. Each item needs to be separated with the comma, like this. All right. So the last thing we need to do and talk about is a map. So how to create a map? My map is equal to, now we use the curly bracket. We put the semicolon at the end everywhere. And next you need to put, by example, a string and what else? A string, whatever. It doesn't really matter for now, just so you have seen how to create each of them first time. Later inside this course, when we need them, I will explain more if needed. All right, so this is how you do it. Last thing with the map, if you want to put the type for the map, you can write it just like this. This will be a map string. But if you have something else, by example, I don't know, something weird, you can use dynamic, and dynamic will be all the type, kinda, right? So by example, if I use this, I put my comma to create another thing, the key 2, and we change this for a number 444. Now this will work because we have the dynamic, which will be either a string or either a number. So this is how you use the type with Flutter. Later we will do like loops and stuff like that, but we don't need it right now, so we will not do it right now. That's about it, and I see you in the next video to start building a real application. That's it. Bye-bye. Okay, so I know we were supposed to start building like apps and widgets, but I need to tell you this thing. It's so crazy as a tip that it will help you build with Flutter like crazy fast. So I don't understand why people don't tell about this more often. It's just so good. So by example, if you want to create another argument, right now what we will do is we will work on this little debug banner. I hate it because I don't think it's beautiful. I think it's ugly. But if you want to have a debug banner to know if you are in debug mode, you can keep it, but I will remove it. So we will go inside the material app and I will write show debug banner or something like this. Show debug banner. Yeah, this one. And I will select this argument. And if you go over the argument, you will see that Flutter will give you the answer. You need to put a true or false value. So I will say, I want this as false, and I will press Ctrl S to save. And you see that the banner is not available anymore. If you like it, keep it. Personally, I don't. So we'll do again this little tricks, but with another argument. So let's go inside the color scheme. And inside the color scheme, we have the argument and we have the widget color scheme. Inside this one, we'll go inside the arguments. I will press comma, Control space, and we'll use the brightness argument. So this one, I will press enter, and now we need the answer. So we'll go over brightness, and you see we need to write brightness.light. So this is a widget. So I will do exactly that, brightness, but instead I will say .dark. And if you save, you will see that the application is not dark. But another thing is you can see that the code is a little bit weird. So if you put a comma after each argument or each argument and widget and save, this will automatically re-put the code like in a good way so you can see it. If it doesn't work for you when you press Control Save, this means you need to like format document, so you need to press this. All right? So that's about it. So now you know that when you put your mouse over an argument, you have always the answer. Flutter is giving you the answer. So just use them. So you understand that Flutter is widget inside widget. You understand that when you put your mouse over the argument, it gives you the answer. And you understand that the arguments start with a lowercase and the widgets start with a capital letter. So right now you have like all the tools to understand what we'll do with Flutter. So I see you in the next video to start building. Bye-bye. Okay, so let's talk about container. A container is just like an empty box that you can fill with anything, like you can decorate it. So I will go over the text widget, I will right click and I will say refactor. Then I will use the wrap with a container. But I have some bug on my computer. I will right click, I will say refactor, and now I will select wrap with a container. But you can see also we have the center, padding, size box, column, row. We will do all of them after, like in further video. So I will say wrap with a container. After this, inside we'll go in the arguments, Control space, and I will say color. The color will take a color widget, so I will say colors dot, and we'll use maybe red, and let's save. So this is the container, the red color. So what we can do also is we can change the height for 100 and 0, and the width for 100 and 0. So let's save. So this is our container. All right, after this, what we can do is we can change the corners of the container. I will go inside the decoration argument, and if you go over, you will see that this takes a decoration, but this is a little bit misleading because it's better to use the box decoration. Perfect. So after this, inside the box decoration, we will put the corners or the border radius. Again, if we go over, you will see that this said border radius geometry, but it's better to just use the border radius dot circular. And then you just put like 25.0 inside and let's save. And now we have an error. So in further video, I will show you how to fix error by yourself. Like it's a two-step formula, it's super simple. But for now, I will just fix it pretty quick. If you don't understand, don't worry because we will talk about it later. So what I will do is you can see that we have the color is equal to null or the decoration is equal to null. And right now we put a color and a decoration. So Flutter is like, hey, just put one of them. And after this, it's also said box decoration, color, color. So you can change the color inside the box decoration. Okay, I know this means a lot of things and maybe it's confusing, but I will just take this, I will cut it, and I will paste it inside, and maybe it will make more sense for you. All right, so now we have the rounded borders to 25, and that look pretty cool. Can we do other stuff inside this? The constraint, padding. I can talk about padding. Color. Yeah, let's use padding. So I will say the padding go edgeInset.all. This is what you put inside. If you go over padding, you will see that it's called geometry, it's better to use the edge_inset.all. All right. After this, I will use the value maybe 50.0. If I save, you will see nothing change. The reason is it's like kind of invisible, the padding. So what we'll do is we'll change the height and the width, and I can show you something cool at the same time. It's called the double.infinity. All right? This will tell Flutter, I will put my comma, this will tell Flutter take as much place as possible. So inside the body argument or inside the body of the scaffold, take as much place for the height. And after this, we will do the same thing for the width. We will say double.infinity, and let's save. Okay, so you can see that the padding does, again, nothing, but it's because the padding is inside like this. If we change the padding for margin, you will see that now we have the 50 margin. But if we do it for the padding, this means what is inside this thing. So let me show you. We will take another container. I will copy this entire container like this, and I will go inside the child. I will change the text for the container. And now I will paste another one, and we'll change the color for maybe orange. And let's save. So you can see that the hello, maybe the hello is a little bit, I will put black. Let's save. So now you can see that we have a margin. We have a, no margin. We have the padding, and we can put a margin also, like this. Here we go. So this is everything about container, or pretty much everything you need to know about container. I see you in the next video. Bye. Let's talk about column. This one is pretty cool because most of the time you will need to put widget one over the other, because currently it's all one inside the other. So what you can do is instead use a column widget. If we go inside the body, we have the container right there. And instead of this container, I will delete what is inside. I will delete all the child like this and save. Okay. So what we will do is we will wrap this container with a column. I will right click and I will say refactor. And then I will use wrap with a column. All right. So as you can see, usually a container will take a child widget. Okay, we don't have it right now, but you could have a child, and then is what you put inside. But the column is pretty much the same thing, but it's children instead, because you can put multiple child inside. We have the list. This is the list, and then we have the widget container. So what you can do is you can copy this container and paste it right under and save. And now we have a problem, and it's because we use a infinity height inside a column. So a column is infinite, and we put an infinite, so it's like it's not like possible. Anyway, so I will put Control J, and you can see inside the debug console also we have some sort of problem with the height has size. All right, so I will remove this, and what we'll do is we will just remove the height like this, and we will save. Great. So we have one container, and we have another one right under, and we have two type of padding. So we will remove all the paddings and the margins and padding margins, and let's save. So if we save, now we have another problem. It's not working because we don't have any height. All right, so a lot of problems, but this is how you learn. So height, we will put 100.0, and we will put another height for this one and save. So we have our two containers inside a column. All right, that's pretty cool. But I have a thing to show you. Instead, we will replace the two double.infinity. You can press Control D. Usually, this will select the next thing. And you will write maybe 100.0. Let's save. So we have our two containers. After this, what we can do with them is maybe we can put them in the center. So let's use the column. And what we will do is we will go inside the arguments. We will say the main axis alignment dot center, and now the widget are inside the center. So let me explain you what is the main axis alignment and the cross axis alignment, because we can also change this one for, by example, and it will be at the end, and I will show you why it is not right now. Anyway, so a lot of things to explain. This main axis alignment is, by example, the column. the column is like this and the main axis is vertical. All right, so this is why when we put it in the center, it goes in the center. If we put it at the end, it will go at the end. All right, but why this one doesn't work? The reason is, by example, if we take the column and we wrap it, refactor, wrap with a container, and then we change the container for the colors dot blue, and let's save. This is the container. That's the reason. But if we take, by example, the container and we put it at width double dot infinity, dot infinity, and we save, now you can see that the cross-axis alignment is working and it goes up to the end. And if we change it to start, it goes to the start. Because now the column take all the width. Because by default, the column will take as less place as possible. All right, I knew this is a lot of things. We will redo this exercise in the next video because we will do the row instead of the column. So you will see it's a little bit different, but anyway. And another thing we can do is we will delete, maybe we'll put this as black 38, so it's less aggressive. And next we can change maybe the width, remove this and save. Great, so now we have our column. And what we will do is I will remove the cross-axis alignment, we will save, and we'll change another argument called the main axis size. So if we do this, we can change, because by default, as I told you, the column take as much place as possible for the vertical. So we can change this. We can say the main axis size dot minimum. So now it will take as less place as possible, and the main axis alignment will not work anymore because it doesn't take all the height. All right, so you can remove this and save. So this is a way to put it in the center also. You can remove this and it will go back up. All right, so this was a lot of things about the column. In the next video, we will talk about the row, and that's about it. See you in the next one. Bye-bye. Okay, so let's talk about row. Instead of using the column, we will replace this just by writing row, and I will save. Great, so now you can see that this is the row. We have the color black 38, which define the color of the row. And after this, we have two containers. So let's change a couple of things. Let's go and try to put this in the center. So what we could do, we could change the main axis size. Is it main axis size? It's not inside the row, sorry. So yeah, it's the main axis size like this, and we'll say main axis size the minimum. Try to think what it will do before running it. So, for example, if I click on it, this will change the main axis size to the minimum. So all the black will be reduced, so this will go in the center. So let's save. Great. After this, what we can do is we can change the main axis alignment. And if we say main axis alignment dot, let's say start, it will do nothing for now. So let's save. It do nothing because the main axis size is minimum. So if we remove this, now it will go to the start. But I think by default, it is by start. Yeah, it is by default. So what we could do, we could change it for center and let's save, or end and save. Great. So there's also another thing called the space around or space between, space evenly. Let's use this one. This one can be pretty cool sometime. So yeah, you can play with that. And one last is the cross-axis alignment, because the row is horizontal. So the main axis is horizontal. And the cross-axis of the row is the invert, which means vertical. All right? So we'll say the vertical axis, we want it to be cross-axis alignment dot start. But this should not change anything, does it? Cross-axis dot start. So I will save again. Yeah, this does nothing because it was just the main axis previously. So that's why it moved. But if we just remove this and we put save, and then we put this cross-axis alignment dot start, it was, you see, nothing changed. All right, so that's good, but how do we make it change? The reason is because the height of the row is like the minimum as possible. So we can change this by going in the container, so the parent widget, and we can change the height to put double dot infinity, and now it will work if we save. You see, now it worked for the cross-section alignment. So I know this was a lot of things and maybe it's confusing for you, but it's pretty simple. It's just if you have the row, what is the main axis of the row? It's like this. And what is the cross-axis? Is like this. And if you go with the column, the main axis is like this. And if you go with the column, the cross-axis is horizontal. So that's about it. See you in the next one. Bye-bye. Okay, so now let's talk about the center widget. So you can see that we have a center that is wrapping everything right now. But why is this not everything in the center in this case? All right, let's figure out why. First, we have a height of infinity. So let's remove this. This might help a little bit. Great, so now we are going to the center. After this, we have a row. But the row is saying that the cross-section element is going to the start, which means this should do nothing. So if I remove it, it should do nothing. Yes, sir, perfect. But why this is still not in the center? The reason is the row take as much place as possible for the main axis alignment. So if you go inside, you will see that the main axis size is maximum. So let's change this for main axis size dot minimum, and let's save. So now everything is in the center. So this is the goal of the center widget. But if you change the argument within other widget inside, this will not take action anymore. All right. So this is the center widget. What else can we do? By example, if we go in the container, we want to put a text inside and we want it to be in the center. So what we could do is we could write the child to go inside the container. And next you will say center widget. Let's click. And then we will go inside child again, because this will go in the center. And we will write text. And then we will put, I don't know, blue, 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 blue. And let's save. So now we have the text in the center of the container. All right, so this is how to use the center widget. I don't think there is anything else inside. We have some width factor, height factor. I never use them, so it's not really useful. That's about it, and I see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Okay, so how do you add an image inside your Flutter app? For this, you have two ways to do it. First, you can either use a URL or you can download the image and put it inside your project. We will do both ways. So first, I will find an image on the internet, wallpaper. I will right click on it and I will say open image in a new tab. Great. So after this, you will go at the end of this URL and you will search for something called JPG or PNG or any image format. After this, you can copy all of this. And if it's something weird, then maybe it will not work. So just now you know. After this, we will go back inside the code and we will replace the scaffold body. So we will change all the container. And one tip for you is I always click on the bracket to know where the next bracket is. You see, I always click like container. I know it's right there because it's highlighted. So I will take the center, delete all of this, and then we'll use the image.network. Perfect. Now we can delete the source and we can put something like this, the URL, and we can put the comma, format document, save, and now we have the image inside our application. Great. So what is the next step? The next step is maybe to put the image on the full height. So we will use the height argument. We'll say double.infinity and let's save. But this is still not like all the image, like all the screen. If we want all the screen, we need to use another argument called the fit. And the fit will have the box fit dot multiple options. So contain, which is currently the case, the cover, or the fill. Fill is a little bit weird, so we will use the cover. And now let's save. Great. So this is the first way, by using a URL with the image.network. So let's do the other way around. Instead, we will create a new file and we will call it assets. Inside this, we will create another one called the image. And finally, inside assets, we'll create another one called fonts, because later inside this course, we will learn how to add your own fonts. And so inside assets, let's go back inside the internet and I will download this image. I will say right click, save image as, and then I will save it inside my image. So you can see this is my project, asset, inside Flutter app, image, and I will save it inside this. Let's change the name for something like background, bg.jpg. Save. Okay, now we can close this and we can go inside image and see if we have our background.jpg. Great. The next step is to go inside the image.network and change network for asset. And after this, you can change the path, which is inside. And what we will put instead is the path for the image, which is assets/image/bg.gpg. Great. But if you save, you will see that this is not working because we need to tell Flutter that we have a path to image. So you will go inside the popspec.yalm, and inside this one, you will scroll down until you find the section asset. And you need to make sure that everything aligns perfectly, otherwise it will not work. So you will go over the A and you will delete twice, like this. Delete, delete. After this, you will do the same thing. You will go after and you will delete twice. Delete, delete. Great. So you will remove this and call it assets slash image and slash again. So now you have access to all the image within this file. And you will click this, you will save, and you will click this little button, Flutter pub-get. All right? If you don't have this on Visual Studio Code, you can open the terminal and write Flutter pub-get, like this. And it will do the same thing. So I will close this and close the popspec.yalm. And now if we save the application, we have the background. If it's still not working for you, just close the application and relaunch the application. And now it should work. So this was pretty much everything about image. So that's about it. And I see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Okay, so if you are using Android Studio and not Visual Studio Code, this video might not be for you. So you can skip to the next video right now, because we will talk about extensions with Visual Studio Code. So you can see that when I put my path of my image, I have a little image preview. This is because I have an extension called image preview. All right, so you can download and enable this if you want. After this, we have the better comment. Better comment is just a way to put colors for comments, because normally this is a comment, but if you put this, now the comment is red, and if you put like question mark, now it's blue, and stuff like that. So you use it if you want. After this, I have the awesome Flutter snippet. This one is pretty cool because you just write like a shortcut, and it will write a lot of code for you. So we will use this